The backlash over Sheikh Yasir Qadhi's claims in the now infamous Holes in the Narrative interview has convinced him to leave social media. In case you're new here, let me recap the situation. Sheikh Yasir Qadhi has known for a long time that the Quran has not been perfectly preserved. But he couldn't admit this publicly because he would have been eaten alive by the Muslim community, which is firmly committed to the demonstrably false narrative that the Quran has been perfectly preserved right down to the letter from the time it was revealed to Muhammad. Dr. Qadhi did, however, acknowledge some of his concerns about the Quran privately in a discussion thread with some of his fellow Muslims. Unfortunately for Dr. Qadhi, one of the Muslims in that private discussion was Fareed, aka Fareed Responds, aka Fareed Leaks, who leaked Dr. Qadhi's private comments in order to expose him. Dr. Qadhi's leaked doubts about the Quran coincided with Hatun Tash and Jay Smith showing Muslims that there are dozens of different Arabic Qurans around the world, so many Muslims became concerned about the preservation of the Quran. Muhammad Hijab decided to clear the air by interviewing Dr. Qadhi live. Hijab started asking questions about Dr. Qadhi's views on the history of the Quran. It was very, very clear that Dr. Qadhi did not want to discuss his views in public.
And I would never bring it up in public. And I don't think it is wise to bring it up in public because it should not be said in public. You will not find one lecture of mine about this issue. It should never be brought up in public. This is not something you discuss amongst the masses, ya akhi. It's not wise.
But thanks to Hijab's relentless efforts, Sheikh Yasir Qadhi reluctantly admitted that there are holes in the narrative.
And it's very clear to you and to every single very advanced student and specialist that the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say.
Muhammad Hijab received so many complaints from Muslims that he deleted the discussion from his channel. Sheikh Yasir Qadhi eventually did the same. But the damage was done, and Muslim apologists started losing their minds. Muhammad Hijab was babbling about golden showers and sending women veiled threats of torture and rape. Ali Dawah was threatening apostates with public execution and sending out prayer requests for Allah to plague me and the apostate prophet with diseases. Ijaz Ahmed was hurling racial slurs and threatening and doxing critics of Islam. Menj was consoling himself by looking at some very, very naughty photos. A bunch of these guys conspired to get us deplatformed and demonetized, but it backfired. I've never seen a meltdown like this over people learning a simple fact. In this case, the fact that the Quran most certainly has not been perfectly preserved. The backlash against Dr. Qadhi has been so severe that he recently announced that he's withdrawing from social media.
I am very serious. This is not just statements. I'm very serious, inshallah, slowly withdrawing from social media completely and having alternative platforms because I feel that I am not. I don't want to be involved too longer on public platforms, and I'm going to be gravitating towards not being involved in public anymore. And I'm just preparing the way for that, inshallah ta'ala, before it happens. Inshallah, this is my goal in a few years at max, inshallah.
Think about this. For years, Muslim apologists and Muslim scholars have lied to the Muslim community about the preservation of the Quran. It's now gotten so bad that if a Muslim scholar even tries to speak the truth, if a Muslim scholar attempts, even for one interview, to be honest, he'll be shamed and harassed off the internet. What is this religion? What kind of religion compels its adherents to love lies and to despise the truth? Non-Muslims would have been sympathetic towards Sheikh Yasir Qadhi because of the way his community has been treating him, but their sympathy is undermined when they remember two things. One, that Dr. Qadhi was one of the Muslim scholars who spent years spreading the myth of perfect preservation, and two, that Dr. Qadhi has been filing false copyright complaints against people who spread his comments about the holes in the narrative. Dr. Qadhi filed a false copyright complaint against me. I challenged it and won. And just yesterday, Islam Critiqued announced that Dr. Qadhi also filed a false copyright complaint against him. Dr. Qadhi knows the rules. He knows that we're allowed to use clips from his interview for purposes of education and criticism. He knows that YouTube will restore the video just as they restored my video. He knows all of this. And yet he keeps filing false copyright complaints anyway. This man is a deceiver, like his God and like his prophet. So, he doesn't deserve anyone's sympathy when his own community attacks him for a brief moment of honesty. How can things get any worse for Muslim apologists? We'll have to wait and see, but one thing is certain. The Islamic apologetics meltdown, as epic as it's been, is just getting started. It's not just Muslim myths about the Quran that are being exposed. Muslim myths about Muhammad are being exposed as well by Dr. Qadhi. To see Dr. Qadhi destroying a common myth about Muhammad, be sure to watch my video, Sheikh Yasir Qadhi Blasts Muslim Apologists for Lying About the Age of Aisha. The video will help everyone understand why Muslims are calling Dr. Qadhi a heretic or an apostate, and why non-Muslims are calling him the gift that keeps on giving.